Tonight on The Final Word, the bills seeking to create the Maharlika Investment Fund are heading to the Senate Committee on Banks, Financial Institutions and Currencies despite opposition from the minority. Joining us now via Zoom for his insights is Senator Sonny Angara. Senator, thank you so much for joining us. Why did you vote to let the bill stay with the Committee on Banks chaired by Senator Mark Villar?
Well, because if you read the jurisdiction of the Committee on Banks, it talks about equities, financial instruments, and mutual funds. And these are the sort of thing which the proposed Maharlika Fund will be investing in. So it is the proper committee to handle the bill chaired by Senator Villar.
But, Senator, the Maharlika Fund bill seeks also to create a government corporation. Why not just transfer it to the committee where it belongs, government corporations, chaired by Senator Alan Cayetano?
Well, that's one argument, no? But it's not any ordinary government corporation. It's a government corporation that is explicitly or specifically created to invest financial instruments, which is the goal or the role of a sovereign wealth fund. It gets public monies and it invests it in financial instruments. So hence the referral to the Committee on Banks and Financial Intermediaries.
All right. So because there's also some opposition, right, Senator, that it's going to the committee of Senator Villar. You are the chairman of the Finance Committee. Should it also be part of the hearings? Should there be a collaboration of the various committees to really fine-tune this Maharlika Investment Fund bills? Include the banks, the government corporation, and the committee that you...
So, but the main committee is the committee of Senator Villar. So it will be routed to us for our comments. And definitely during the plenary debate, as well as during the committee debate, there's a lot of space or room for us to give our comments.
All right. The broadcast media, which included myself, interviewed the president on Monday, Senator Sonny, and this is what the president had to say about government-owned and controlled corporation funds being used for the Maharlika Investment Fund.
You cannot use funds of the GOCC. Pera ng gobyerno, what will the government spend? It was a proposal. It's not something that we have adopted. Think, every single GOCC has its own charter. How will you will then revise all of those charters to align with the Maharlika Fund? And that's not the purpose of the GOCC, number one. Number two, this is a lot of income that goes to the national government that will suddenly disappear.
So, Senator Sonny, should GOCC funds be used to fund this Maharlika Investment Fund?
I think the point of the president in that interview, Rico, is that he's saying money of the budget, which goes to fund certain GOCCs like PhilHealth, for instance, NFA. These are the biggest GOCCs receiving subsidies from the government. He's saying we shouldn't touch those anymore. We shouldn't use that type of money. And he's correct because the Senate version filed by Senator Mark Villar, the source is no longer... it's much better than the initial draft where it was going to use money from GSIS and SSS. Now it's using money from the BP, Land Bank, PAGCOR, which are off-budget items. So tama si Presidente na hindi siya manggagaling sa national budget.
But Senator Sonny, we have also this re-engineered version, no, from the House of Congressman Salceda, saying that the DBP funds and BSP funds will not anymore be used, but only GOCC funds and dividends.
Well, then we'll have to... I'm confused now because the version I saw that filed by Senator Villar, which I assume will be tackled by his committee, is the one which mentions the Land Bank and DBP and BSP dividends as well as funds from PAGCOR. So I haven't seen the Salceda amendments. I've heard about it in the media, but there's no formal document which will be in the committee of Senator Villar. As of the moment, no, I haven't seen anything like that.
So everything has to be reconciled because there's still a lot of confusion. But do you fully support? But do you fully support the version of Senator Mark Villar?
Yeah, I think it's a much improved version over the initial version that was filed in the lower house, where yun nga, there was a big outcry because it would be pension funds of the
Yes.
SSS and GSIS, which would be used to fund the Maharlika Fund. So I think it's better that we use DBP, LBP, which are of Development Bank of the Philippines and Land Bank of the Philippines, because these are not budget items. So you're not taking away from any programs of the government, as pointed out by some observers. Rather, you're taking off budget items and putting them towards actually helping the government in a sense. If you're going to spend the money, if the money is going to be spent for public purposes like welfare programs, etc.
And President Marcos, during that meeting with broadcast journalists, also said that Senate President Mig Zubiri has told him that you plan to finish all of this before the Holy Week. That is in April. Has he discussed this with you, and is it possible? Because he also said that this bill has to be really analyzed with a fine-tooth comb, and it has to really be formulated to the best for the people.
Well, I'm not privy to any promise made by the Senate President, but if the President said he made that promise, then perhaps that is the promise of the Senate President. Certainly, what I know is that the senators will certainly look over the bill with a critical eye and try to improve it and make it redound to the public interest in greater fashion. No?
And what should we expect, Senator Sonny, during this January 30 briefing with economic managers? Will all senators be present?
Well, all senators are invited. I don't know whether all senators are interested in going. I'll certainly be going.
Oh.
I want to hear what Secretary Ben and our economic managers have in mind when they pushed for this sovereign wealth fund. No, so I'll definitely be there, and I'll see how I can support and improve the bill if possible.
So why still meet? Why still meet with the economic managers on the Maharlika Investment Fund? Why not start conducting committee hearings already?
Well, that's the discretion of that's a decision that can only be made by the committee chair, Rico. No, no senator can make that decision for him. So I guess maybe the economic managers want to start the ball rolling by inviting us to a briefing.
Senate Finance Committee Chairman, Senator Sonny Angara, thank you so much for your insights on the Maharlika Investment Fund bills.